Hi, our group Urban Scholars, which consists of Iman Zulkarnain, Hadif Heri Ahmad Fuad, Haziq Azali, and myself, Kifar Gilbert, we choose Jakarta, Indonesia as our case of study area. So first and foremost, let us go through the introduction.
So for the introduction, a little bit of the background, located in Indonesia lies a city named Jakarta which currently experiences the rapid effects of urbanization. With a population exceeding 10 million and continuing to increase, the city's rapid development brings both opportunities and significant challenges. The three key issues that we are going to address is land subsidence and flooding, overpopulation and urban sprawl, and finally population and waste management, which demands immediate action for Jakarta's sustainability and the well-being of its residents.
What is land subsidence? Land subsidence is the sinking of the ground due to the movement of underground materials caused by extractions of water, oil, natural gas, or mineral resources through pumping, fracking, or mining activities. Flooding means rising and overflowing of a body water onto normally dry lands, occur during heavy rainfall when the ocean wave surge onto the shore or the dams or leave a field. Land subsidence can cause flooding to occur. It will lower the land's elevation, then increase water accumulation. The risk of the interfering with a drainage system and diminish the effectiveness of flood defense like leaf and dams. In the early 20th century, Jakarta was a small city with about 150,000 residents. Due to the rapid urbanization transforms it into a larger city in Southeast Asia, now home to nearly 30 million people. Existing water infrastructure designed for smaller populations is insufficient, covering only 40% of the city, primarily in the wealthier areas. Many residents rely on unregulated well, leading to over-extractions of groundwater, which cause several land subsidence, exacerbating floods. Flooding is worse by the city concrete landscape, which prevent natural water absorption, and by population from inadequate sewage system. Rivers are heavily polluted with a waste and chemical, making a surface water unusable and increasing reliance on groundwater. Efforts by banning public building from using groundwater and imposing limit on the regulated wells. However, thousands of unregulated wells remain a challenge. Without an adequate alternative water source, residents continue to dig well, depleting the groundwater and worsening subsidence. Influence interest metric: high influence and high interest. Indonesian government, they are responsible for policy and decision making regarding groundwater extraction, land subsidence, and sea level rise. Key player in the Nusantara construction project. Environmental activists highly invested in mitigating environmental impact and advocating for sustainable practice. For the high influence and low interest, first is international organization. They provide technical support and funding but might not be deeply invested in daily outcome. For the large corporations have significant influence over resources and policy but may prioritize economic gains over environmental concern. Third is a low influence and high interest. Local communities, they are directly affected by water issue and regulations due to the Nusantara project. Strong interest in outcome but limited power to effect change. Next is indigenous groups deeply impacted by land displacement and environmental change, highly concerned but with limited influence. For the fourth is low influence and low interest. For in general, public outside affected area may have a limited awareness or interest in the specific issue of Jakarta and Nusantara. And for the small local business, impact by water issues but lack significant influence over broader policy decisions.
I will explain more details about pollution issue and waste management in Jakarta, Indonesia. Firstly, I will focus on the pollution issue. The first pollution is air pollution, where the vehicles is contributing to air pollution because of vehicles in the city are lack of modern emission control system that cause the vehicle release pollutants to the air. The second cause is from the industrial activities, where factories and industrial zones release pollutants to the air. Second pollution is water pollution that mainly comes from domestic wastewater because households discharge their untreated sewage into rivers and canals. And also agricultural runoff, where the pesticides and fertilizers that was released from the farmers contaminate the water. The third pollution is soil pollution that came from industrial waste due to improper disposal from factories and also industrial activities. Urban waste also contribute to soil pollution because of the landfills and open dump sites. Fortunately, the government of Indonesia has made some waste management in order to reduce the pollution issue. The first one is disposal, where the government has made their main landfill site in Bandar Gebang, located in Bekasi, just outside Jakarta. So it will reduce the soil pollution in the city. Also, there is waste to energy WTE project is being introduced. The main goal of this project is to reduce landfill reliance and generate electricity from the waste. The second management is waste segregation, where it first introduced to household level, where it can minimize the waste, leading to mixed waste being collected. The waste segregation is also came from community initiative, where the NGOs promote waste segregation and recycling practices. However, these efforts are not being widespread by the people. The third management is through the waste collection, where the coverage of the waste collection, quality and frequency is very significantly across different areas. And informal sectors like waste pickers and scavengers also plays a crucial role in collecting and recycling waste.
Today I'm going to address the issue of overpopulation and urban sprawl in Jakarta. So the issues are leading to the encroachment of development into flood-prone areas and exacerbating environmental degradation, traffic congestion and social inequalities. Overpopulation strains the city resources and infrastructure, contributing to inadequate housing, limited access to basic services and poor living conditions, particularly in the informal settlements. So the trends are as follows. The city's population has surged due to high birth rates, rural to urban migration and the concentration of economic opportunities. As Jakarta's population has increased, the city has expanded outward, resulting in significant urban sprawl. This expansion often occurs without adequate planning, leading to the proliferation of informal settlements and unregulated land use. So the impacts of these issues are as follows. The first one is infrastructure strain, which causes frequent traffic congestion, water shortage and sanitization issues. Next, the environmental degradation, disrupt ecosystems and biodiversity. The next one is flooding, conversion of natural floodplains and inadequate drainage systems. The next impacts are social inequality, poor living conditions and lack of basic services. Next, we have health issues, overcrowded living conditions, pollution and inadequate sanitization. Last but not least, the impacts of overpopulation and urban sprawl is the economic challenges. For example, traffic congestion, inefficient public transportation and inadequate infrastructure can increase business costs. Next, we're going to look the causes of this issue. The first one is the economic opportunities, which creates a magnet effect, drawing people to the city. That will make the city will be more crowded. The next one will be the population growth. Efforts to implement family planning programs, cultural and socio-economic factors often lead to large family sizes. And then urbanization policies, ineffective urban planning and weak regulatory frameworks. And last but not least is the housing demand. Absence of sufficient affordable housing options. Many people resort to live in informal settlements. Now I'm going to explain about the influence interest matrix. So first, for the high influence, high interest, the first one is Jakarta provincial government, which is responsible for urban planning, infrastructure development and implementing policies to manage population growth and urban sprawl. The second organization, which is National Government of Indonesia, which plays a crucial role in setting national policies and providing funding for large-scale infrastructure projects. Secondly, can influence urban development through legislation and budget allocations. Next one is high influence with low interest. The organizations consist of international organizations to provide funding and expertise for urban development projects and may have a less day-to-day interest in specific local issues. The second organization, which is large corporations, so their function to have significant influence over resources and policy. And then moving on to the next one, which is the low influence and high interest. The first one is local communities and residents, particularly those living in informal settlements or affected by inadequate infrastructure, and high interest in improvements but typically lack the power to influence large-scale change. The next one is the NGO, which is non-governmental organization, which should focus on housing, urban development and social equality. And last but not least, which is the low influence and low interest category, which consists of tourists and short-term visitors to minimize interest in long-term urban development issues and limited influence over local policies. And lastly, the small local businesses. They are affected by urban sprawl. Their primary concern is day-to-day business operations and they lack significant influence over urban planning policies.
All in all, to conclude, Jakarta's rapid urbanization has set an example for the world as it faces quite unique challenges. For example, land subsidence and flooding, overpopulation and urban sprawl, and also pollution and waste management. Fortunately, with proper research, we are able to identify and prioritize the root causes and provide relevant solutions while ensuring both the short and long-term effects. This highlights the importance of effective urban management as the key solution to combat the underlying issues. Through these efforts and exposure, Jakarta can pave the way for a sustainable city, a city that thrives on urbanization. I think that's all from us. Thank you.